Hey there, sixth graders. In this video today, we're going to go through and talk about what it is that you're going to do in class with some of the directions, as well as go through a slide, actually 2 slides of notes. So, in general, here's what we're working on. 3 things. Class notes, which we're going to do here in a moment together in this video. 3, your Google Draw organizer on the flow chart of the formation of sedimentary rocks. Third thing is that flip chart, the 3D graphic organizer that we made at the end of class yesterday. Those are the 3 things. As we go to each one here, I'll kind of talk about it. So let's go ahead and let's start by getting out this piece of paper. Okay, I have it up here on my computer, but you guys have it as a piece of paper. Class notes, igneous rocks. If you need to pause the video to go get your binder or to go get a pencil, go ahead and do that now. All of you showed me that you had this yesterday in class, so I know you have it in there. We did that at the end. All right. So we are at the bottom of the front page where it says examples. There are 5 examples of igneous rocks that you're going to need to know. So let's start with the first 2, which are intrusive. So on your paper, you're writing in granite and gabbro. Okay. As you're writing, I'm just going to talk a little bit. Gabbro, not as common, so let's focus more so on granite. Granite is really common. Some of you might even have it in your homes. It's a very useful countertop material. It is made out of the minerals, number 1 from our set last unit, which was quartz. Number 2, which is feldspar, and if you remember, those were hard minerals. They scratched class, numbers 1 and 2. And because of that, because granite's made of those minerals, and some others, but mainly those 2, granite is a hard rock, which makes it really useful for a countertop. You don't have to worry about it breaking, chipping, scratching even, if you like, especially if you're cutting something on your to prepare food and you accidentally have the knife go against the counter or something. It's also heat resistance. It can do okay with heat. So you can put something that's kind of hot on there and it's not going to melt. It's not going to start a fire on it. And it's pretty, right? And so people like to use it as a building material. So we see them in kitchen countertops, bathroom countertops, in hotels, office buildings and things where it's used. It comes in a lot of colors because those minerals, number 1 and 2, quartz and feldspar, come in a lot of colors. And so you can get a big variety of different colors. Another reason why people like to use it as a construction material because of the different colors. In case they want to paint a room a certain color, they can find a countertop that matches with it. And like I said, it's not only is it beautiful, but it's really durable. It's a good natural stone to use for countertops, and that's granite. Now, both of these are intrusive igneous rocks, and they both show a sparkling surface because they have that characteristic of large crystals, which we've talked about. The reason the crystals are large, because intrusive igneous rocks cool slowly. Cooling slowly allows enough time for those crystals to continue to grow so that they show up and we get this kind of sparkling surface because of the crystals. So, granite, gabbro, 2 intrusive igneous rocks you need to know, both of them large crystals and sparkling surfaces. Move on to your paper here. Extrusive igneous rocks is the next part, and there are 3 of them. Oh, I forgot to mention on the last page. We have granite in your set that you guys are using for lab 11 through 24. Granite is one of the rocks in there. Gabbro is not. All right, extrusive. The 3 that you need to know. First one is called basalt. Let's go ahead and write that down, basalt. Basalt is a rock that is on the ocean floor. Most of the ocean floor is made out of basalt. It has holes in it, like bubbles in it, which we know is one of the characteristics of an extrusive igneous rock. Basalt is also in your set. Everyone's favorite, obsidian. Obsidian is glassy, which is one of the characteristics of extrusive igneous rocks because they cool so quickly. No time for crystals to form. There's even a picture there on my slide of snowflake obsidian. I'll show you guys a piece of that tomorrow. I have some of that. It just means that there's some impurities and some other minerals in there that give these like little white dots in them. So they just call it snowflake obsidian. It's just a type of obsidian. It's still obsidian. You guys have obsidian in your sets. Many of you think that you know which one it is. And then the last one is called pumice. Pumice. And let me move myself there. There's pumice. Pumice has lots of holes in it. Lots of holes in it. In fact, because it has so many holes in it, pumice is known to be very, very light. In fact, pumice is a rock that actually is less dense than water, so it actually floats in water. Not many rocks can say that. You might have heard of pumice before, because pumice is used if you've ever gone to, or your family, someone's ever gone to get a pedicure, okay, or a spa day or something. They use pumice rock, and they use it as a scrub to get rid of some dead skin. They usually rub it on the bottom of your feet to get rid of some of your dead skin. It's called exfoliating your skin, and they use pumice stone for that. All right. Turn your paper over. Let's go to the back. Last thing is, where is it found? We talk about this because it's important to think about how each of the rocks are formed. So we're going to do this after igneous rock, after sedimentary, after metamorphic. Talk about, well, where do we find these rocks? And the best way to try to think about where we would find them is to think about, well, how do they form? Where do they form? So if we go to intrusive, you got to remember what makes a intrusive rock. It's magma from below the ground. It's beneath the surface. You're writing in below ground on your paper. If I'm moving too fast too, always, because this is a video, just pause it. Because it forms below the ground, it's a very common rock in the crust of the earth, which is the first layer beneath the soil and water that we have. So we can find intrusive igneous rocks anywhere. In fact, we can find granite all over Ohio and Cleveland and Beechwood and basically everywhere, as long as it's able to reach the surface. And then so it reaches the surface by natural causes like weathering and erosion over thousands or millions of years. Or sometimes, like we said, because people want to use granite for some of their construction, so they literally will dig it out of the ground so that they have it to be able to make to sell, okay? So as long as we can get to it from beneath the surface, you can find it basically anywhere. Not the case for extrusive. Remember, extrusive forms above the ground with lava, okay? So you're writing above the ground. And hopefully what that is telling you is like, well, wait a minute. If that means there's lava above the ground, there needs to be volcanoes around for there to be extrusive igneous rocks. And you would be correct. We're only going to find these rocks where there are volcanoes that are still active and still erupting every now and then, or they're not active anymore, but they used to be. And so they formed these extrusive igneous rocks. So this is a much limited area where we would find extrusive rocks. As much as we all love obsidian, we're not going to find obsidian outside here in Cleveland or in Beechwood or in Ohio. We don't have volcanoes. Hawaii, Alaska, those are just a couple of the places in the United States. Up in the state of Washington and Oregon, there's some volcanoes over there, and there used to be volcanoes there, so you might be able to find some there. But over here, eastern part of the United States, none. All right. I'm gonna stop the video here and go to part 2 with a new video, just because the bell just rang, as you heard, and kids are gonna start to come in, and I didn't have enough time to finish this. So I'm gonna stop. You have the notes. I'm going to come back with the second part, the video number 2, and I'm going to go through your graphic organizer on Google Draw with using the book that we talked about yesterday, and then your 3D graphic organizers. Okay? So go ahead and exit this one out, go back to Google Classroom, and find video number 2 for today.